Welcome, 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 everybody. It's another great episode of your favorite podcast. And guess what?
It's your buddy Spider.
Yeah, that's right. And we've got a sweet, sweet, sweet episode for you tonight.
What are we talking about? Something that I have both a love and hate relationship with because of certain health things.
We're talking about ice cream. Let's talk about this.
Now, today's topic was suggested by the one and only, the other half of this uncanny earth, Mr. Robert Solomon. Let's give him a round of applause. He is not here, of course, to hear his applause. But if he was, I'm sure he would be thrilled. Ice cream. Ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream, right? I like ice cream. Not as much as I used to. Because, of course, and I know this comes up almost every episode, and I don't mean to rub it in and make a big deal out of it, like CrossFit or whatever, because I don't do that. But because I'm lactose intolerant, I can't get traditional ice cream often anymore. It will cause me gut problems, and it'll make me very unhappy. Unhappier than usual, because I'm not generally a big uppity kind of person. But, yeah, I can't eat most of it. However, there are a lot of alternatives. And the alternatives generally are vegan. Even though I'm not a vegan, the alternative ice creams usually are. But first, traditional ice cream. Wikipedia, of course, says that ice cream is a frozen dessert typically made from milk or cream that has been flavored with a sweetener, either sugar or an alternative, and a spice such as cocoa or vanilla, or with fruit such as strawberries or peaches. Food coloring is sometimes added in addition to stabilizers. The mixture is cooled below the freezing point of water and stirred to incorporate air spaces and prevent detectable ice crystals from forming, because you want your ice cream to be soft and creamy. You don't want it to be crunchy unless that's the filling in it. Unless it's got, like, granola in it or chocolate chunks or something. You don't want the ice cream itself to be granular. Which sometimes the alternative ice creams can get like that if you keep them in the freezer for a day too long. They can get kind of granular tasting and kind of weird, and it's not super pleasant. But for the most part, I'll go through a pint of ice cream and just eat it. I'll just eat it without regard to personal safety, and that'll be that. So I don't usually have to worry about that. And what is the alternative ice creams made of? Let me see here. Okay. You can get them from, if you still want to have the closest thing to regular milk, you can get them with goat or sheep's milk, which I don't know if I've ever had. I think I've had goat's milk ice cream once, but not sheep's milk. But most of the time I have the substitutes, which are made from one of the following: soy, cashew, coconut, almond milk, or tofu. And you might think that's weird. It's not that weird. I mean, people drink almond milk, people drink cashew milk nowadays, coconut milk and stuff. And even the tofu ice creams really aren't that bad. It's not like eating a block of tofu that's flavored like ice cream. It's been broken down and mixed up and flavored and things of that nature. So it's not as weird as it sounds. Although if you're going to have tofu ice cream, you might as well just have soy, because it's, tofu comes from, well, no. Technically, tofu comes from what is it? From sprouts? From bean sprouts? Or something like that? I don't know. I'm probably way off. It probably is soy, and I'm just kind of confusing myself. But, yeah, there's a lot of alternatives. So you can get ice cream in any form, which, is okay. But the alternatives don't usually come in the wide variety of flavors that the regular ice cream does, which is what bums me out, because one of my favorite ice cream of all time, and I'm sure it has a better name than what I'm going to call it, but I just remember what the flavor is as far as what it tasted like, and the brand. And I'm going to mention a few brands while I'm doing this show, but I don't have any endorsements from any of these people. I'm not endorsing anybody else, and nobody's sponsoring, so there's no money changing hands. Okay, I'm not a paid spokesperson, so just so you know, it's on the up and up. No selling out here for your good buddy Spider. But Häagen-Dazs, which is a weird name for us here in the United States, but Häagen-Dazs, they make a coffee-flavored ice cream that is head and shoulders, far and away, better than any other similarly flavored ice cream I have ever tasted from anybody else. It is absolutely fantastic. It is the best, and it was something that I indulged in whenever I had a spare moment before I found out about the lactose situation. And I miss it now that it's gone. Now, Häagen-Dazs does have some alternatives, but they're not carried in my local grocery store anymore. The only Häagen-Dazs they have is the regular ones. They don't have any of the dairy-free ones, which bums me out. Come on, Häagen-Dazs. Come on, local grocery store. Help a guy out. I like ice cream. Like I said, I'll sit and eat a pint in one sitting without batting an eye. Like, it's bad. It's bad news. But yeah, and there's a lot of different brands. There are a lot of brands depending on what kind of flavor you're looking for, because certain brands are known for different kinds of flavors. Like you've got here in the United States, anyway. I know these brands. There's Breyers, there's Edy's or Edy's. I heard them calling it Edy's at the grocery store because they had a huge sale on it recently. EDY''S. It looks like Edy's to me, but maybe it's Edy's. I don't know. I've never thought about it. But they have a lot of your traditional flavors. They have like the fruit swirled in, and they have the cookie dough and the chocolate and vanilla and the different things, pistachio, all that good stuff, because you can get a lot of that. But then if you want something exotic, something a little different, you've got people like Ben & Jerry's. Now, Ben & Jerry's, I don't want to get into this too much because it's not what this show is all about. But Ben & Jerry's has a history of doing some political activism, and that's reflected on some of the names they give some of their ice creams. And so if you're not into that, and if you don't want to provide money for that kind of thing, and you're kind of like, oh, I don't like that with my food products, then you won't really enjoy them too much. However, I don't really care too much, unless it's like an endorsement for somebody that's really like not a great person, but that they think is a great person, and I disagree with them completely. Then most of the time I don't care. I'll buy it. Well, not anymore, of course I can't. But they do have a lot of their popular flavors. They do have dairy-free alternatives, so that's cool. But they have ice creams that have like potato chips and pretzels and peanut butter and things all mixed together, and marshmallow and lemon curd and all these things just thrown in, and it's crazy. They have one that's brownie batter, that's like half brownie batter and half cookie dough. So you've got like chunks of the cookie dough in there, and then you have half that's like brownie chunks and all kinds of things. It's madness, I tell you. Then you have Baskin-Robbins, which I don't know how many actual Baskin-Robbins stores there are. There were... Baskin-Robbins was a store before they started putting their ice cream in grocery stores. They were their own like little... Not really a restaurant. I don't know. What would you call an ice cream? A place that just serves ice cream. An ice cream bar? No. Ice cream parlor? Is that it? An ice cream parlor? I think that was it. I don't know if anybody calls them that anymore. But anyway, Baskin-Robbins was known for that, and they were known for having 31 flavors. And I always wanted to know, is it 31 exactly? Or are there maybe a couple extra? Or do they rotate out some of them so there's always 31, but sometimes the flavors are different? You know? You know what I mean? These are the questions that keep me up at night. For real. But, yeah, Baskin-Robbins known for their 31 flavors. You also have, like, we have one here in town, Cold Stone Creamery. And they make a lot of things. They do, like, a lot of the waffle cone kind of things and stuff like that. And they have a place here that you can get the dairy-free ice cream at. And that's cool. That's cool, because if I wanted to go and get high-priced ice cream, more expensive than the grocery store, and splurge a whole ton, I can go there to Cold Stone. Now, there was also a place, and this was slightly different, because you've got ice cream, then you've got sorbet, which is not ice cream, but you can get them there. It's made of fruit juice, and there's generally no dairy in it, no milk products. But you also have frozen yogurt, which is made from yogurt, of course. And so it could be, it's lower in fat, and it's a little softer, a little different texture, a little bit different texture, but still basically the same. And we had a place, up until the virus years, here in town called Menchie's. And they had this, it was basically a frozen yogurt bar. You would go up, you would get a container, an empty container, and they'd direct you to this long wall full of different flavors. And you pick your flavors, you can mix and match, you can do whatever you want, and you just put them in, and then they have all these toppings. They have like 8 to 10 containers full of toppings. They might be cookies or fruit or lychee, which if you don't know what lychee is, that's for a different show, but it's good. Or like gummy bears or all kinds of things. And you could just pile it on, and then you took that and they would weigh it, and you would pay for it based on the weight. So you'd get your money's worth out of that. And then they shut down during the virus times because they couldn't survive in that climate. Because nothing that was self-serve was allowed to be open for a while. Like, you couldn't have buffets and you couldn't do anything like that. So they could not survive and they closed. And that's very unfortunate. Now there's a cheesesteak place where it used to be. And since I can't have cheese, then it's useless. Absolutely useless. But I'm sure a lot of people like to eat there. But yeah, Menchie's, and that was cool. My daughter really, really loved Menchie's because she could pick all of her stuff, and it was interactive. It's a good place for a kid. They're interactive in the process. They're accomplishing something. They're making their own treat. So she was pretty bummed when they closed. Now there's another place. And they have their ice cream in stores now, but not the same variety that you can get from the place itself. But one of my sisters used to always get, around the holidays, she would order it from this place and send me a big styrofoam container full of different exotic ice creams from Jenny's Splendid Ice Creams. And Jenny's is kind of local. Jenny's is from, where is it? From, she's all over now. Oh my gosh. Back when I was first getting this stuff, Jenny's was only like in 2 states. Now there's scoop shops everywhere. But she was like, it was Columbus or Cincinnati or something like that. It was here in Ohio. And, but Jenny's ice cream, she makes some crazy things. And I like them. I used to. I can't very much anymore. But if you pull up their website, which is Jennys.com, JENIS.com. Again, I'm not a spokesperson. I'm not getting paid by them to talk good about them. I just really used to like these ice creams. You pull up their website, and one of the flavors that comes up first, sweet potato marshmallow brulee. Here's the description, okay? Roasted sweet potatoes with nutmeg, cinnamon, marshmallow ice cream, and cracked sugar candy. How crazy is that? That's awesome. That's awesome. Boston cream pie, man, this one would really like fit the bill if I could eat it. A salted vanilla custard layered with yellow cake pieces and darkest chocolate fudge. Oh my goodness. Now I got the first couple batches I got from here. One of the things that they do here that's really cool is they have alcohol-infused ice cream, which is not for the kids, of course, so don't share it with your kids. Although I don't think it'll... I think it's mostly... I mean, it's real alcohol that's put in there, but I don't think it's enough to... You might be able to let your kids taste it, but I don't want people to think I'm advocating underage drinking or something like that, because I'm not. But they had... One of the first ones I tried was like a bourbon and something ice cream, and it was so good. Oh my gosh, and it really tasted... You could really taste the effect of the bourbon. And the last time I got them was... They had one that was absinthe infused. If you don't know what absinthe is, and you're an adult, you can go look it up. If you're a child, that's okay. You don't need to know. Just listen to the rest of the ice cream story. But, and it was funny because Rob from This Uncanny Earth and I we'd had absinthe a couple of times as part of our shenanigans and things. And we've had middling success with it. And so I was like, oh man, I gotta share this. So I took it over and I gave him half of it. And I remember he really liked it. But I don't see it on their current menu. I think some of this stuff comes and goes. Like, she has a variety of flavors. Like, there's a big section down here that's sold out. Some of these things, like this one, it's crazy. I would have loved to have tried this one. It's called Everything Bagel. Cream cheese ice cream with everything bagel gravel. Wow. Like, I would definitely eat that. I would eat that. And if it's everything bagel, I wonder if it's like everything with like the cheese and the onions and all that other kind of stuff. Is that going to be in my ice cream? Oh boy. Speaking of ice creams that are weird like that, people make like bacon ice cream. Like, they'll make bacon, like candied bacon, and they'll put it in ice cream. And in Japan, they're famous for having this black ice cream that's colored with squid ink. So it has like a seafood kind of taste to it. I've never tried it. I've seen the reactions of people who have, and I feel like I would try it at least once. But I don't know. I'm not sure I'm entirely brave enough that I would want to continue from there and eat the whole thing. I don't think I'd want a pint. I think maybe like a spoonful to taste would be fine. But other countries have their own forms of ice cream, and that's one of the things I want to get to, because one of the more common ones that we know of here in the United States is gelato. Gelato. It's a type of ice cream made in Italy that also tends to be, it's a lot more silky, a lot creamier, and it sometimes has egg in it and things like that. But very, very similar. What's next here? Frozen custard is a type of super rich ice cream. You can get soft serve, which isn't real ice cream. But let me see. I want to find around the world here. Around the world. That's right. Oh, there's a cat creeping behind my television. No, Mr. Cat, you can't go there. Nope. Nobody. It's live podcast time, and you're not allowed to be creeping behind the TV and interrupting while I'm doing that. This guy's name is Oscar. You can't see him, but he's a big boy, and he likes to get into places he's not supposed to. Anyway, let's see. Now, in China, and they have this in Japan as well. Japan borrows a lot of these flavors from China. But China has a lot of the regular flavors, but they also have black sesame and red bean which is red bean paste is a typical Asian filling in things, and they put it in ice cream. In Japan, in addition to the squid ink thing, they also have mochi. Mochi is ice cream wrapped inside like a sweet rice dough. So it's a chewy little ice cream ball, and man, they are awesome. I had some mochi in Hawaii many, many years ago, and it was fantastic. Now, in Iran, of all places, they have an ice cream treat called falud, sometimes called palude, not palute, but palud with a D-A. And it has vermicelli noodles, sugar syrup, and rose water. And it's often served with lime juice and sometimes ground pistachios. So there's like there's pasta noodles in the ice cream. It's crazy. Believe it or not, India is one of the largest producers of ice cream in the world, but most of its ice cream is consumed domestically, according to Wikipedia. They have an ice cream called kulfi, which it's got like mango, rose, almond, strawberry, saffron, pistachio, chocolate, and can contain nuts, rose petals, saffron stalks, and pieces of other sweets. They also have something called golas, which is like a popsicle. It's shaved ice packed into a popsicle form on a stick and soaked in flavored sugar syrup. That's kind of cool. Indonesia has a traditional ice cream called es puter, which sounds dirty, but it's not. Stirred ice cream is the translation. Made from coconut, pandanus leaves, I don't know what kind of a plant that is, sugar, and they have, now here's interesting, here's some of the flavors. Avocado, jackfruit. Jackfruit is the fruit that tastes like meat. So it's a jackfruit ice cream that tastes like a meat ice cream? I don't know. Durian. Durian, of course, is the super, it's one of the stinkiest fruits out there, and the fruit does not taste like it smells. Palm sugar, chocolate red bean, and mung bean. So it's interesting. Super interesting. The Philippines has something called sorbetes, which is it's common ice cream. And even though it has a name similar to sorbet, it's not sorbet, it's ice cream, which might be confusing. And they get them from street carts, like from street vendors and things. Spain generally uses ice cream that's like the Italian, like the gelato. I guess in the 1980s, Spain was known for creating many creative and weird ice cream bars. What's an ice cream bar, you ask? Oh, I'll tell you. It's two pieces of thin, fluffy, almost like cookie-like sides with ice cream in the middle. Like an ice cream sandwich is what we used to call it. An ice cream sandwich. And they're delicious. Absolutely delicious. Generally, we have them only in a couple of flavors here, but they apparently have them all over the place. What other things can you do with ice cream? Ice cream sandwiches can come in the bar style, where they're long with the chocolate kind of soft cake-like cookie on the top and bottom. Then you have actual cookies, like big chocolate chip cookies, so they're round on the top and the bottom. Dairy Queen is a franchise here in the United States. I don't know if it's in the rest of the world. I haven't looked, but I know it's here in the United States. And they generally deal in soft serve, which is not exactly real ice cream, but it's very, very similar, so we call it ice cream anyway. It's close enough. And they have something called the Blizzard, which is this soft serve ice cream mixed with a ton of things. Like they added like a ton of toppings in there. So if you want like a peanut butter cup, it's filled with peanut butter cups all in it. And their gimmick is that when they put it in the cup for you, You can turn it upside down and it won't drip out. It'll stay put. Not that it's solid. Like, you can dip a spoon in it, it's nice and soft and creamy. But it'll stay put in there. It won't run. Unless, of course, it starts to melt or something. Then you're in trouble. But I've seen it happen. It's kind of cool. They also have something called the dilly bar, which is a big circular chunk, basically. A big cookie. It's like the size of a cinnamon bun. Okay, and the size and shape of a cinnamon bun. It's vanilla ice cream on a stick, and then they dip it in chocolate, so it's a frozen chocolate shell over the ice cream. Dilly bar. And they also have, and I don't know if they were the ones that invented this, probably not, but they definitely are they definitely capitalize on it. Ice cream cakes. Now, I've seen ice cream cakes in two different forms. The traditional form that I know of from Dairy Queen, it's a layer of crunchy... No, it's a layer of chocolate ice cream on the bottom, right? Then there's a thin layer of, I don't know if it's supposed to be ganache or what it's supposed to be. It's like a soft chocolate with crunchy chocolate cookie pieces all spread throughout of it. So it's both like a chocolate syrup and a chocolate cookie at the same time. It's difficult to describe, but it tastes delicious. On top of that, and then on top of that is vanilla ice cream, and then the whole thing is wrapped in this really kind of thin tasting frosting, like a whipped cream frosting almost, but it's frozen. And I've seen other forms of ice cream cake where it's an actual layer of cake and ice cream both in one. So instead of a bottom layer being one kind of ice cream and the top layer being another, it's a bottom layer of regular cake with something in the middle as a buffer, and then the ice cream on top. So you get your cake and ice cream all in one go without having to have them separate. I always preferred the Dairy Queen cakes when I was a kid. That was always the highlight of a party when I was a kid. I don't really do birthdays much anymore myself, but when I was a kid, I was still kind of like, oh yeah, birthdays. I want to get what I get, all kinds of presents and cake. And I always liked ice cream more than I liked cake. I've never been a huge fan of cake. Like, I like some of it. But if you gave me a preference, if you said you can only pick one, there's only money in the budget for one, you can have ice cream or you can have cake, I'd be like, okay, I'm taking ice cream. Well, as long as it was a kind that I could eat. You know, the thing. So, ice cream cake. Yes. I still do like ice cream. You can tell. Just because I can't eat most of it anymore doesn't mean I still don't find it absolutely delicious. And if given the opportunity to eat it without consequences, without my guts feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm being punched in the stomach repeatedly for 12 hours, I would eat it. I would eat it up. I wouldn't feel bad. I wouldn't feel bad at all in any form. Give me all the ice cream you've got. Maybe hold the squid ink ice cream. I don't know. Not exactly my thing, probably, but I think I would try it. I'd say I was at least try it. It's worth a try, at least. And a lot of people have ice cream cones as well. Usually they're a thin, I guess are they fried maybe? It's like a fried dough outside, but it's really light. Like almost like a really light cookie or a cracker or something. I've never really looked into what the outside of a cone is really made of. But then you have waffle cones, which are made of a chewier, almost like gingerbread style, but not the flavor cone, and they're usually pointed. Some people have waffle bowls, which are the same thing, just in a bowl form rather than a cone form. And you can get cones with multiple scoops if you can handle it. It's always funny to see in cartoons and things. People always get these massive, 6-scoop ice creams, and it all falls off. And cartoons, they take the concept of ice cream all kinds of weird directions. My daughter, some of her cartoons, like she watches this My Little Pony cartoon, and one of the kinds of ice cream flavors they try, that's like a traditional forest flavor for the forest ponies, is moss flavored ice cream. I'm kind of like, I get why some people might not like that. I don't think I'd like to eat moss. No, no thanks. But then she has another one. She's got this show about cats that's it's an Italian cartoon, if you can believe that. It's Italian, but it's dubbed over in English, so you watch it here. And there's a cat that sells ice cream, because all the main characters are all cats, right? And they all have clothes, and they walk around and talk and do stuff. You know, it's a cartoon, all right? I didn't make it. It's a cartoon. So don't look at me like that. But they have that. He has, like, cat food flavored ice creams and things. You'd be like, all right, well, they're cats, and that's fine. And you can get sprinkles of, like, dry cat food on top and things like that, and cat treats. And then there's this, I don't know why the guy even sells it. Like, one cat always goes up, he's the stinky cat. He lives in garbage, and he glorifies that he smells bad all the time. He's taking baths, and he always likes to eat gross stuff. Because it's a kid's show, alright? It's a kid's show. And he orders hairball flavored ice cream. Can you imagine that? Like, wouldn't you, if it came up once, doesn't that mean it's going to come up again? Ugh. I've gotten all you guys charged up about ice cream, and then here at the end, I give you that gross, like, bleh, now you don't want to have any ice cream. Now you don't want to eat anything. But yeah, ice cream. I love it. I like ice cream. I appreciate Mr. Robert Solomon, of course, from This Uncanny Earth, for suggesting it for me. And I wish I had some right now. I don't. I might get some of the kind that I can eat when I go grocery shopping this week. But I don't know, maybe not. We'll see. It'd be like a guilty pleasure, because I'm the only person here who would eat it, because everyone else is out of the house. It is vacation time for the ladies of the house. They are spending a week away from me and from the house and from all responsibilities on the beach. And I'm here taking care of the animals and everything, because, you know, we got the pets and we got the house and things, so I'm taking care of everything. And I don't mind. I don't mind. That means maybe I'll get myself some ice cream and just eat it all on the couch. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, ice cream. Love it. Hope you love it. And if you do, and this has made you hungry for some ice cream, go get some. I know it's late now. Try to find your nearest 24-hour grocery store. Get some ice cream. If you don't have any of those, wait till tomorrow. Get up. Go get some ice cream. And then listen to this episode again so you can relive all the great ice cream memories I've got. Find yourself some Jenny's. You can get it in the grocery store. They're all over now. Not all the same flavors, but you can still get some pretty good flavors. I've done that because they have some of the dairy-free ones in my local store, and man, I am happy to see that. It's still not as good as the Haagen-Dazs, but, you know, what are you going to do? That's the laugh of luxury. So that's it. That's all I got. Stay tuned for another episode next week. In the meantime, you can always wake up with me at 6 a.m. for my morning show, Sipping Coffee with Spider, which is mostly for the grown-ups. It's got news. It's all about the news, so the kids might not be interested. And all the other great content we have spread among the Uncanny Network, which includes Spider Does Things, which is the channel where all of this is located on, and the This Uncanny Earth official on YouTube, where all of the episodes of the main central show exist. Mostly. So, that's it. I'm going to go dream of ice cream and wish I had some. Good night.